Peace, blessings, and mercy of God be upon us all. Are you interested in Islam, or do you want to become a Muslim? Here are 6 objective reasons why you shouldn't waste time any longer. The first is the consistent teaching of Islam. Since all scriptures and messengers claim to be from the same God, the message of any new messenger must fundamentally be the same with that of the previous messages in relation to salvational beliefs and practices. Islam, according to the New Jerome Biblical Commentary, which is not an Islamic source by the way, admits while commenting on Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 to 20 that Islam is a revival of Jewish Christianity which later died out. Islam is clear of inexplicable fundamental doctrines like the Trinity, literal sonship for God, vicarious sacrifice, inherited sin, and others. Rather, Islam advocates for right belief in God as the unique one who has no equals, not even with his messengers like Jesus or Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon them. And it also advocates for the need for righteous deeds. The second reason, preservation. The message of Jesus and Moses, peace and blessings of God be upon them, is as good as the transmission of their message. How can we ever follow their teachings if it has not been faithfully delivered down to us? The Quran, on the other hand, is the final scriptural guidance from God that has remained intact over 1,400 years in its original language of Arabic and has a sound oral tradition of memorization in addition to written records. So how can the Quran be corrupted intentionally or unintentionally by scribes when believers have it in their memories? It was memorized by the Prophet himself as he received it. He had scribes who wrote it down in his presence. He had his companions who memorized it. And the Quran was later compiled into a single parchment just 6 months after him and then standardized into one specific Arabic dialect by the 3rd Caliph, Uthman, just 18 years after the Prophet in the presence of 33,000 companions. This is from the history of the Quranic text from revelation to compilation by Mustafa al-Azami. For the Hebrew Bible, however, and the New Testament, an easy and accessible reference is the RSV preface, the Revised Standard Version preface, where it says, "Sometimes it is evident that the text has suffered in transmission, but none of the versions provide a satisfactory restoration. Here we can only follow the best judgment of competent scholars as to the most probable reconstruction of the original text." On the need for a revision of the King James Version, it says, "We now possess many more ancient manuscripts of the New Testament and are far better equipped to seek to recover the original wordings of the Greek text." For the Hebrew Bible, only late manuscript survives, it says. That's the Masoretic text, the authoritative Hebrew text favored by mainstream Judaism, which dates from around the 9th century, that is about 2,200 years after Moses, peace and blessings of God be upon him. The third objective, this is in fact good text to apply to any book that claims to be from God Almighty. The Quran says in Quran chapter 4 verse 82, "Do they not consider the Quran carefully? Had it been from any other than God, they would have surely found therein contradictions in abundance." So the Quran claims that it does not have any contradictions in it from the beginning to the end, and this is a good criteria that can be applied to any book. The fourth objective reason, immutability, the fact that the Quran cannot be imitated. The Quran, as it stands today, is by far the most outstanding piece of literature in the Arabic language. In fact, the Quran itself challenges the Arabs, who were masters of poetry and linguistic skill, to produce even one chapter that could be compared to the Quran. In Quran chapter 17 verse 88, the Quran challenges them to produce a Quran like it. In Quran chapter 11 verse 13, the Quran even reduces the challenges further by challenging them to produce 10 chapters that are found in the Quran, like that found in the Quran. And also in Quran chapter 2 verse 23, God Almighty reduces the challenges further by telling them to produce a chapter, just a single chapter, that is just like the Quran. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ. If you are in doubt as to what we have sent to our servant from time to time, فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِّثْلِهِ, then produce a chapter similar to it, in kuntum sadiqin, if indeed you are truthful. The shortest chapter of the Quran was a mere 3 verses. At a time when poets were the pop stars of Arabia, Muhammad showed no poetic ability. He was unlearned, neither either knowing how to read nor write. Quran chapter 29 verse 48 confirms this. In fact, his sayings compiled in books of hadith are clearly different linguistically from the Quran and can easily be differentiated from it. Of course, this may be hard for us today to appreciate, but it stands as a historical fact. Some examples of this include Quran chapter 9 verse 36, where God Almighty says, Inna iddata shuhuri inda Allahi ithna ashara shahran fi kitabillah. The number of months in the sight of God Almighty are 12. And also the number of times in the Quran months appear is just 12 times. And also in Quran chapter 3 verse 59, God Almighty says, Inna mathala Isa inda Allahi ka mathali Adam, khalaqahu min turab, thumma qala lahu kun fayakun. The similitude of Jesus in the sight of God is like that of Adam. And also the number of times Adam and Jesus appear in the Quran is the same number of times, 25 times. So how precise is it that a book that claims 2 things to be the same also ensures that the number of times those 2 things occur in the entire book is also the same number? So this is the miracle of the Quran. And also in Quran chapter 2, the longest chapter of the Quran says, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. We have made you a middle nation, لِتَكُونُ شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. That you may be a witness over mankind, and that the messenger may be a witness over you. This verse is found in the longest chapter of the Quran, and it is found in the middle verse. Quran chapter 2 verse 143, talking about the middle nation. Amazing, right? This is the immutability of the Quran. The 5th objective criteria, predictions of the future. The Quran in Quran chapter 30 talks about the victory of the Roman Empire over the Persian Empire. That Gulibati Rome, the Romans have been defeated. Fi adnal ard, in a nearby land. Wahum min ba'di ghalabihim sayaglibun, and they, even after this defeat, will soon be victorious. God Almighty makes the claim that the Roman Empire will be victorious very soon over the Persian Empire. The Quran supports the Roman Empire because they were Christian nations, while the Persians were idol worshippers who worship fire. So God Almighty is saying that the Romans, even after this defeat, will soon be victorious again, and it's happened exactly like that. Another prediction is in Quran chapter 111, where it talks about Abu Lahab, the uncle of the Prophet. It says, Tabbat yada abi lahab wa tab. Perish the 2 hands of Abu Lahab, perish he. What is astonishing about this verse is that for the next 9 years of Abu Lahab's life, despite hearing these verses being recited, his pride still kept him from a potential golden opportunity to discredit the Quran. He could have just come outside and professed his faith, even though he was pretending that yes, he's now a Muslim. But no, he didn't do this. And he died a disbeliever, acknowledging the statement from the Quran that he is cursed and he is going to be in the hellfire. The 6th objective criteria is scientific and historical miracles. In Quran chapter 21 verse 30, God Almighty says, أَوَلَمْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ كَانَتَ رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one piece of creation before we clove them asunder? وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. And from water we created every living thing. Will they not believe? This knowledge was revealed over 1,400 years ago, and yet we've only discovered what we call the Big Bang Theory, talking about the origin of our physical universe, and that every living creature is created out of water. This confirms the statement from the Quran about 1,400 years ago. Another historical example in the Quran is the term Pharaoh, which is only used in relation to the king of Moses' time. It is never used for the king at the time of Joseph or the king at the time of Abraham, as the Hebrew Bible records. This is historically accurate, as the term Pharaoh was only used for kings of ancient Egypt during the era of the Middle and New Kingdom, as the knowledge of hieroglyphics now confirms, which is the writing method of the ancient Egyptians. One final historical miracle of the Quran that I will mention is in Quran chapter 10 verse 90 to 92, where God promises that the body of Pharaoh will be preserved. He says, فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً. that today we will preserve you in your body and we shall make you a sign to later generations. And it continues by saying, وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ عَنْ آيَاتِنَا لَغَافِلُونَ. But most of mankind are heedless of our signs. In the book, the Bible, Quran and Science by Maurice Bucaille, he mentions the discovery of mummies in 1898 and especially the Pharaoh of Moses. Until a few decades ago, the entire mankind, including Muslims, did not know that the ancient Egyptians had mummified their pharaohs. So these are few objective criteria why you should become a Muslim. So I leave you to make a choice. Do contact me via the number on your screen or via my Facebook page. May the peace, blessings, and mercy of God be upon us all.